Welcome to Cards on Blast. Now, here's your hosts, JT and the Bird.
Hey, welcome into Cards on Blast, episode number 3. You're hanging out with your guys, JT and the Bird. Hey, Bird, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, JT? How are you this morning?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Little special episode here. We are recording a couple days early. Yeah. I'm taking a little trip, and we kind of have some scheduling conflicts. So we still want to bring you the show the way it should be, once a week. What we promised you. Hey, how you doing this weekend, my friend?
I mean, outside of an awful Jamba Juice experience this morning, I am doing well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was rough, bro. It was rough. I went in and, you work with people and, you expect to get somebody to help you when you walk into a place, right?
Sure.
So I go in. They have a kiosk now. They don't have a human.
Of course.
I go to put my order in and it's like, scan this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I scan the thing. The guy's there. He's standing just on the other side of the counter. And he's doing his morning stuff. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, hey, man, this doesn't allow me to add stuff to my drink. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can't do that there. And I'm like, well, I wanted to add strawberries to this specific smoothie that I was getting. And he's like, yeah, you can't do that. And then he walked away. And walked away, went to the back. And I'm like, so I stood there. He came back out with a bucket of fruit or something. And then this guy just literally looks at me. Doesn't say anything, goes back to his thing. I'm like standing there going, really? I shouldn't have to spell this out for you, but so I left. I just walked out, didn't get my drink. I went over to Noah's Bagels and got some breakfast. Gave them my money instead of Jamba.
I guess that's the service you get today, man. So we're going to be talking about grading today. So hopefully those services are a little bit better than the service that you got at Jamba Juice today.
I hope so. Although the timing may take just about as long.
Right. Yeah. Right. Little recap of episode 2. We did talk about vintage gems to modern trends and also the junk wax era. I'm sure we'll dip our toe into that pool just a little bit when we're talking about the grading services today. Also, what would be worth grading? Yeah. We want to go over all that stuff with you. We're also going to bring you what the scores, intel from the graders. We're also going to be cracking a pack today. We're actually got to double crack that pack for you today. And also what you got in the stack and the card of the week, which I have a little special card of the week that I want to share with everybody. So hopefully we'll get into all that stuff for you. So stick around. Bird?
Yes, sir.
You there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Bird.
Yeah, I'm here.
Are you ready to crack a pack, buddy?
You know what? I've been waiting all morning to crack this pack.
You know what? I'm going to let you go first. So let's go ahead and get your pack ready.
Oh man, making me go first. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Time to crack that pack, where we open a pack live.
Okay,
All
buddy.
right,
Let us
today,
know what pack we're cracking today.
So today, I thought in honor of the UEFA Champions League, European soccer, for those of you who don't follow, best teams in the world, typically. There's some outliers, but most of the teams are in this league. So I got a Don Russ Panini soccer pack. It is a value pack, 25 cards. And I don't truly know a ton about soccer, but I thought it'd be fun to crack something different today. We're looking for an exclusive diamond and pink diamond parallel out of this.
Okay.
I have no idea what that looks like.
2025 pack, 2024, Flash 25. I don't know how soccer goes either. So
I think this is a 24-25. It actually doesn't have a vintage on it.
Interesting.
So that's different.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, let's take a look. And this is my first soccer pack I've ever cracked. These are going to go to my kid because he's a soccer fiend. He loves it.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That at least you have a reason to buy a soccer pack, and it's not just going to sit there.
I did, yeah. No, he's, and I mean, obviously, he's he's a huge Messi fan. He likes to dog Ronaldo because he's Messi's nemesis. And I'm like, well, not really, but he's 7, so he gets excited about
If you
that.
pull
kind of
anything
stuff.
but a name Messi or Ronaldo, I probably won't know who they are. But let's get into it, man. Let's see what you got in there. Hopefully you do get one of those guys. That would be best case scenario, I believe, here.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Funny enough, I've actually heard of this guy, Jung Ho Bae from Korea Republic. He's a pretty good player out there. I've seen him play in some World Cups. I've got a Jan Arias from Colombia, rookie. It's a rookie card.
Okay.
I forget there's rookies in soccer because they start so young. These guys are starting at 16, 17 years old for their national teams.
And they
crazy.
already got a card. So cool.
Right. David Fertisi from Italy. Probably going to screw up these names because,
Hey, do your best. You're doing
let's
fine.
see. I've got a Giovanni Lo Celso from Argentina. Gio Reyna from the United States. All right, got my first U.S. player. Not the best soccer team right now, but, hey, we all hope that they're going to get better. Oliver Giroud from France. He is a stud. He's been played with him for a long time.
Okay.
Excuse me. I got my first U.S. women's player, Lindsey Horan. U.S. women's soccer, which we all know is pretty much the studs of the world.
But they're mixing women's soccer in there as well, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got women's soccer here too. Yeah, it's neat. You get both, kind of both levels, which is kind of nice. Especially when you're a U.S. fan, because the U.S. women's team is so much better.
Agreed.
Victor Boniface from Nigeria. Not familiar. Ooh, this is a good one. Here we go. Strahinja Pavlovic from Serbia. I've got Denise Undav from Germany. I got Weston McKennie from the U.S. He's been on the team for a little while. He's a lot of fun to watch.
You know what? That name does sound a little familiar to me.
Yeah, no, McKinney. You remember you always hear the last name. You never really pay attention to the first names. I got an Anthony Gordon from England, Antonio Nusa from Norway, Manuel Ugarte from Uruguay,
And you're doing
Marcos
a fantastic
Acuna from
name drops here. This
Marcos.
is awesome.
I'm doing my best. Marcos Acuna from Argentina. All right, now we're getting into some of. I don't know what kind of inserts parallels these are because I've never opened soccer before. But I've got Hee-chan Hwang from Korea Republic, and that one's kind of a reflective, almost like a silver, if you will.
Okay.
I've got another one of those. Bruno Fernandes from Portugal. He has definitely been a long-standing player there. Oh, I got back-to-back Portugal with those cards. We got João Felix from Portugal. And I'm going to say that I got one of the diamond parallels. I think I got a diamond parallel.
No way.
Maybe. Federico Chisa from Italy. Here, I'll show you.
Oh, okay. I really like those cards, though. Those are.
They actually. Oh, wow, even better. I don't even know what this. Maybe this is the diamond. I don't know. Leo Ostegard from Norway. Check that bad boy out.
Oh, really cool. These are Donruss, right?
Yeah, these are Donruss. Yeah, I'm kind of digging the whole soccer cards. They do a good job with these. Leroy Sané from Germany. This is called a Magician's card. It's kind of look like a standard insert. He's out of Germany, so he's pretty cool.
Whoa, yeah, that is a really cool card.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then let's see. Oh, okay. So we got Richard Rios, the rookies. There's apparently an insert with the rookies in this set, and this is Richard Rios from Colombia. And then we have they have an insert like the old. Do you remember the old Diamond Kings they used to have back in the 80s?
Yeah,
for baseball.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the best way I can describe this. But this is the Rookie Kings series, and this is Aleksandar Pavlovic Sorry for that. I'm trying to read it. It's got a lot of glare off of it, but check that bad boy out.
Whoa. Nice.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of love these soccer cards.
These are pretty nice, man.
And then we finish off with a couple of the rated rookies. We got Kevin Castaño from Colombia and Fidel Ambriz from Mexico. I'm actually really excited that I picked this pack up this morning, thinking, hey, check out some soccer. It'll be fun.
Nice, man. That's nice. I do enjoy those cards. Those are really nice looking cards. They actually do look a lot like the Donruss. I believe they have the same kind of outlined background as the basketball ones. Oh yeah, rated rookie.
And that's the base. That's kind of the base card look is what they look like there. So, but right. I'll get you some pictures of these before we, post this all stuff so people can see the cards we got.
Absolutely. Pictures will be on the YouTube feed if you guys want to check that out. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch the episode. Keep your eyes on the screen when we're talking about these cards because they will pop up right in your face. You'll be able to see what we're talking about. Hey, Bird, nice crack, buddy. I like that.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That was fun. Now, we did say we had a double crack day.
Double crack day.
Okay? Double crack. Not like plumbers, but double crack. Let's go.
Thank God, because crack kills. Especially that kind. All right. I'm actually opening also Donruss. This is the 24-25 Donruss basketball. 15 cards per pack. I did get a blaster box, and I pulled out pack number 5, I believe. So we're going to roll the dice and see what we get here. Hopefully we get something cool out of this pack. Here's the pack. And I believe it kind of has the same, like I said, backgrounds as those soccer cards you just opened. So let's crack this pack.
I'm glad you picked the number this time because pack 3 last time didn't work out that well.
I don't know if I shared this, but pack 4 out of that one, when you picked 3, actually had an autographed Jimmy Key card in there. Out of a blaster box, by the way, nonetheless. So pretty cool there.
That's the luck. That's my luck. That's my luck. That soccer pack, by the way, when I was pulling it out of the stack on the rack, I picked number 4, just remembering that process of last time.
I'm telling you, 3 and 4 in a blaster box are probably your money packs. I went with 5 today. I just had this feeling. I don't know. All right. We're starting off with a Drew Holiday. All right. Not bad. Good player. Like it. All right. Next, we got from the Washington Wizards, Mr. Bilal Coulibaly. One of the coolest names, I believe, in the NBA. Just to say Bilal. Bilal Coulibaly is cool to me. We got a Lauri Markkanen. Hey, not too bad so far. Not too bad so far. We got a Keontae George from the Jazz. I believe that's a second-year card. No rookie yet. All right. Contavious Caldwell-Pope. KCP in the house from the Orlando Magic. NBA champion, by the way. Jaren Jackson Jr., first-time All-Star this year. Hey, pretty good pack so far, man. Cannot complain. Oh, we got the number 1 overall pick rookie, Mr. Zachary Richache. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. That's a rookie card. Set that one up to the side here. Good card. Good player. Another rated rookie, Cam Christie from the Clippers. He's a pretty good player from what I know. All right, we're getting to our insert here because it's backwards. So let's do what we get here. I got to turn this thing around. Oh, goodness. It's a serial number card. It is an orange hollow blast of some sort. Got these cool holograms coming off the middle, all blasting outward. It is a Taylor Hendricks of the Utah Jazz. Number 59 of 125. Check that out, Bird.
Look at you getting the numbered card, man.
I'm sorry. Somebody just tried to call me on my computer rang. Interesting.
That is a cool card.
Hey, a serial number card.
Man, you have pulled more serial numbers, I'm telling you, and autos and whatnot lately, just out of random packs.
Yeah, this one's breaking my heart, buddy. This one's breaking my heart. De'Aaron Fox insert card. Pass the rock. Pretty cool card, but
yeah, they definitely passed the rock onto the San Antonio Spurs.
they certainly did, which I'm not too happy about, but you know, it is what it is. That's the life in the NBA these days. Still a cool insert. Let's see. We're getting back to regular cards now. I think we're done with the inserts in that pack. It's weird how they put them in the middle on Donruss, but that is what they do with the basketball. Denny Avdia? I think that's how you pronounce it, from the Trailblazers. Okay. We got Clint Capella of the Atlanta Hawks. We've got a Mikal Bridges, New York Knicks, but he's in his Brooklyn Nets jersey. Isaac Okoro. That's a good player from the Cavs. And finally, we're going to end with a Devin Booker. So, you know, quite a few good players out of that pack, honestly. And the serial number card, that's the cherry on top right there, right?
Always a win when you get a serial low number card. And hey, to make you feel better about De'Aaron Fox, the Spurs are not going to the playoffs this year. The Kings are. So at least you got that to look forward to. Hopefully they can get out of this play-in and go play against, the number 1 seed and see what the Thunder give them.
Right. Yeah. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't even think they're honestly going to get out of the play-in, but that's just my personal feelings on it. So what can you do?
I'm not sure they will either, but it could happen.
Okay. So, hey, great crack that pack. Serial number cards. You got some pretty cool looking inserts in your pack there. Hopefully your son enjoys those. But let's get into our main topic today. We're talking about the grading wars. Who will rule this hobby? Now, obviously, we have the big players in the game. We got the PSAs, the BGS, the the SGC, the CGC, and the TAG. Boy, that was a mouthful, all those acronyms there. But yeah, we're just gonna basically go over all these big players. We're gonna give you some rates. We're gonna tell you kind of their turnaround day. They do have express services, of course. You want to pay a little bit more money. You want to get your cards back faster. They have all that. But let's start off with Beckett. Beckett is BGS for anybody that did not know that. Beckett is famous for what the Becketts we used to read as kids, right? Looking up cards in the Beckett.
The Beckett price guides. Those were everything back in the day. I see they still have them, but now you got I think they're pretty expensive, and you got to separate all your different sports out. So, but yeah, I still have some of my old Becketts from a kid, including there was a Bo Jackson with him flexing a baseball bat over the top of his football pads. That pretty cool cover.
I bet those are worth something too, man. You should look into that, because they might even be worth more than cards these days from that era.
Right. I know. So yeah, I mean Beckett is definitely a name in the business. They are one company that, from what I can tell, does not charge an upcharge for value of your card. Okay. Theirs is purely based on time frame of turnaround. So they have 3 different services, or actually 4 different services with Beckett. They've got a base, a standard, express, and a priority service. Those range anywhere from $14.95 per card, and that's without any subgrades, because Beckett does not just a grade, but they do subgrades, corners, centering, all that stuff. Surface.
And they give you scores for that you can actually see. Correct. Right.
But with that base service, you don't get that. You're not getting those subgrades. You upgrade to their standard service. It's about $35 a card. You get your subgrades, and you upgrade from 45 business days to 20 to 25 business days.
Okay. You pay a little more money, you get subgrading, and you get your cards back a little bit faster.
Right. And then express service, you really want your cards back in a hurry. I would think the only time you're doing that is if your cards are really high value and you think you're going to flip them quickly.
Yeah. And that's 7 to 10 business days. That is 1 week, basically, people. But you're definitely paying a premium, which brings you to the next priority service.
Yeah, and I mean that's going to be $125 a card. You get subgrades, but you are getting that back in 2 to 3 business days once they receive it. And clearly you're paying for that turnaround time. So they put you to the front of the pile, if you will. And I'd imagine those are cards, that are upwards of, $3,000 to $10,000 or more that you'd be wanting to make sure that card is secured and, graded quickly.
That's a lot of money to pay for one card. $125. My goodness. That better be worth it. That better be worth it if you're going to do that.
But I mean, like you had that, say you got the Paul Skeens 101 that sold for $1 million. That's the card you send in for $125 to get it graded and returned. Because 1, you want to know what your grade is. 2, you want that card secured and safe as soon as possible.
Wow. That is very, very, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm sticking with the basic service myself. I have patience. I can wait for my card. It's fine. I also don't want you to rush the grading process. I feel like sure, you're cutting in line. Do you think they would rush their process a little bit more, or you probably get the same service? I hope.
I can't imagine they would. I actually think they would scrutinize even harder than they would with your typical submission, because typically people that are submitting cards for that kind of service are going to be submitting really high value cards, and they want to make sure that their service is, if they're getting the exact right score that card should have.
Got it. Well, they also have some additional fees for things like an autograph card. It's going to be another $5 per card. An oversized card is going to run you about $8 more per card. Relabel, $10 more per card. And a recase, what's a recase there, Bird?
Honestly, maybe...
is that taking it from like another grading and they're taking it out, recasing it?
No, I think what that is your case was damaged and they need to recase it back into a brand new case that's clean. Say your case came with a scratch down the middle of it and you're like, no, that doesn't work for me. So they're going to charge you $10 per card to have it recased.
If I got it opened in the mail and had a scratch on it, they're paying for that themselves. I'm raising hell with their quote unquote warranty department or whatever.
Right.
All right, that brings us to PSA. PSA, probably the biggest name out there. They've been doing this for, I think, since the early 90s is when PSA started, 1991, if I'm not mistaken. Bird, why don't you run down their value kind of packages.
All right,
here.
So PSA has a lot of different options here. Unlike Beckett, who is mostly based on your turnaround time and if you want subgrades or not. PSA has 3 levels of cards that your card can have a max declared value of $500. So what that means is you submit a card, even if you don't think it's going to be $500, you submit it through their value process, value bulk process, which is $19.99 a card, 20 cards minimum. So you're sending in 20 cards with them. But you're like, okay, my cards aren't really worth a ton. Well, one of them happens to hit a gem mint 10. And that card happens to, you don't think it's going to get a 10. You thought you were going to get a 9 or an 8 or something, but you wanted it graded and it hits a 10. Now the card's worth over $500. You immediately have to pay an extra fee before getting that card back from PSA. They'll still grade it, but you can't get your card back until your fee is paid. So you go from $19.99 a card or $24.99 a card if you're doing single cards through their value service, and you are getting that back. And they say, well, your card came back over $500. It came up at $600 for its estimated value. Well, now you're paying $59.99 for the grading of that card.
And you have no idea that you're going to be paying this until they tell you after they grade it, right?
Exactly. Not necessarily. I mean, if you know your card's going to be over $500 and you're trying to sneak it through, that's on you. But if you don't really understand that your value is going to hit over $500 if it's a gem mint 10, then you need to realize that you could be paying upwards of, $35 more for your grading service.
Wow. Hey, I mean, if the card comes back and it's worth that much, it's probably worth the money to pay to get it back.
Yeah, and it's just it just bites into your bottom line. Really,
sure.
Is really what it comes down to. So if you're doing it for your own, collection, great. If you're going to sell it, then you're going, man, I got it over $500, but now I just knocked off another $35 on that, so now my card's
And that
I'm already in $60 into this $600 card.
That would be only if you got the bulk value, which is 20 card minimum, as you stated before. But if you're going into the value now and you're less than 20 cards you're sending in, it's going to be probably even more, right, Bird?
Well, yeah, you're $24.99 for the value if that's a single. So I want to submit 1 card or 5 cards to PSA.
Anything under
you're looking
20.
at $25, basically. Yeah, anything under 20, really. So you're looking at $25 a card, and now a few weeks ago it was 45 business days to get those cards back. PSA has recently came out and said, no, actually we've changed that. It's now going to be $65 or 65 business days, excuse me,
right,
before you're going to get your cards back. So 65 business days is a long time, which tells you the amount of cards that are being submitted to them, and how their process is going. There's a exorbitant amount of cards going into PSA right now. They cannot keep up.
All right, so it looks like they have some other ones. Basically, you pay more, you get your cards turned around a little faster, just like all these. They got a Value Plus, Value Max, Regular, Express, all ranging somewhere in the $40 to all the way up to $300 for Super Express. So pick your poison, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and they even have a higher level with it's called the walkthrough. And that's a declared value over $10,000. That's going to be $600 a card to get it graded.
Whew.
Which it seems rough that you got to pay $600 to get 1 card graded, where just because it's valuable you get hosed on the amount. That
sounds like way too much money for me. I mean, just to get 1 card graded, unless I had maybe like a Mickey Mantle rookie card or something. That'd probably be the only case and scenario where you would do that, I would believe.
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, I guess if it's if you're trying to sell it quick and you need to do your thing, it's definitely going to be better to take it and get it graded for a high level because you get it back quicker, kind of thing, and you also get it get that 10 on there early.
Right. Now, PSA does not do any subgrading.
They do not.
They do not. I did just look into this company. Now, probably many companies are doing this. I can't remember the exact name of this company. I'm so sorry. All I did was see them on Instagram. But you can actually send your PSA cards in, and they do a subgrade of your PSA card, and they use all the modern technology to kind of find out if you got a 9, if it's a high 9 or if it's a low 9, right? And then they'll do like a certified sticker on your card. And I'm so sorry I can't remember that. Maybe I can find it here while we're talking, and I can elaborate just a little bit more. But there are companies out there that will subgrade your PSA cards.
And just before we move off of PSA, obviously sports cards aren't the only thing that you get graded out there. There's TCG, so like other card games, Lorcana, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! Any of those. Then I'm sure there's multiple others that you need to get graded. Well, PSA is, you send those in bulk right now. You're looking at $18.99 a card for 60, and it's a 65-day turnaround.
Got it.
So,
okay, I just looked this up just because I wanted to fact check this a little bit. Yeah, NBA Diamonds, if you want to follow them on Instagram, is one of these companies that will take. Basically, they'll add value to your trading cards that are already graded by enhancing the grading process and giving you kind of a higher low on the grade that you already have. So pretty cool. I think that's kind of one of these new things that's popping in there to basically get you more value for your cards. Let you know, because every 9's not going to look the same. Every 8's not going to look the same. This will actually break down and tell you why. So pretty cool little service if you want to check that out. NBA Diamonds on Instagram.
And it could be good if you did that and you get a high, like your card comes back a high 9s. It may be one of those cards that it's worth cracking depending on the value of a 10 and resubmitting to PSA. You're like, man, this thing was so close to a 10. Maybe if I get a different grader, maybe they see it differently than the first person did, and maybe I could pull that 10 off.
Right.
So
So, do any of these companies grade comic books? Do you know?
They do. CGC does it for sure. And I think SGC does as well. I'm not sure on Beckett and PSA. I don't believe PSA does. I've never seen anything with them. CGC is definitely, I think, the one of the primary people of comics. So it's that would be where I would look as far as comic book grading.
Yeah, I got some cool ones I got in mind to get graded actually for comic books. I own the whole Infinity War series, which are in great shape. Yes, good job, 12-year-old JT, attaboy.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I think CGC is where you want to go if you're looking for comic books. They actually have a website called CGC Comics, and from every comic book I've ever seen on TV shows where they're collectibles and things like that, it's always CGC for comics. And your comic book goes inside, you get a grade on top. Obviously, anything in the 9s is always a win. I don't know if I've ever seen a 10 on a comic book, but if you're getting a 9.8, 9.6, you're in very, very good, very, very good land as far as your grade.
I've never got a comic book graded. I think I'm going to actually pull the trigger over this summer here, and it's just all about what I want to send in, how many I want to send in. Maybe I'll take advantage of one of these bulk deals, send a bunch in. We'll see. But definitely, if that happens, we'll be sharing it here on the podcast. Now, Bird, can you tell me about what's this TAG grading service? Is that just another grading company?
So TAG is a new company coming out. They're fairly new on the scene, and what sets them apart from these other grading services is they use AI to grade their cards. They don't use a human. Now, I've been in card shops talking to owners and employees, and my understanding is at least from what I've been told, if TAG grades, for instance, a Pokemon card, that would increase its value, not as much as the other services, but it would definitely increase the value of the card, and they would look at it differently than if it was, say, a raw card. They also told me that if it's a sports card at this time, that they would look at it and go, yeah, I treat this just like a raw card. Like they'd see no value in the TAG grading at this time. That doesn't mean it won't get better. And that because I think at some point, like maybe, the umpires in baseball, for instance, I think that's going the way of the dodo, having somebody actually grade a card.
With all the technology we have nowadays, it just makes sense, right? I mean,
yeah, it's, I don't know if you've, been watching any baseball recently, but there's been some awful umpiring. Awful.
I've been watching baseball my whole life, and there's been awful umpiring.
I think one of the home plate guys missed like 30% of his balls and strikes in one game, and I'm like, how are you doing this?
Yep.
But but tag is, I think tag is interesting. I think it may be a thing that if you were looking to get a less human version, or getting that human subjectivity out of it, it may be the way to go. I think it might catch on. I just don't know. It is so new, and obviously we are coming into the world of AI until they take over, and we work for them. So, but yeah, I think tag has definitely some interesting prospects. Their turnaround time is much faster than everybody else's as well. So that's a win. I think even SGC, who was really going pretty fast, recently just came out, and even they have started to push their turnaround times, further. CGC is, for their value stuff, their economy and bulk, you're looking at 8-week turnarounds. So, that's a 2-month window, which isn't actually as bad. It's not that bad. Because most of the other places are like PSA was 65 business days. That's like 3 months. It's a long time.
Yeah. No, I can tell you from personal experience. I just got some cards graded. I actually did not mail them in. I did a personal drop off. I'm going to shout out the card shop too, neighborhood card shop in Lodi, California. Showed up real early, right? 15 minutes before they said they were going to open. There was already like 30 people in line, right? So I got in line, and just within 10, 15 minutes, that line stretched out of the door around the building. It was insane. And you have to sit there and wait for them to kind of look at everybody's cards and fill out the forms. And some people didn't do their job and fill out their forms beforehand and have it ready. So you're just looking at a longer wait. But ultimately, if it's worth it to you, you got to do it, right? You got to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And now, time for What You Got in the Stack.
All right, Bird pulled out what you got in the stack last week.
I did.
It's like it's time for me to step up to the plate here and do my thing. So let me run over to my handy dandy nice card holder here. It's all protected and everything. A little anal with these cards. So we're going to pull one out. Let's see what we got. Bird, what should I go with? Basketball, football, baseball? What do you got, buddy?
Well, we already pulled soccer. We already talked about basketball because that was in our Crack the Pack segment. Let's see baseball. I mean, it's baseball season. It's that time of year. Let's see what's going on with the Diamond Kings.
All right. Completely random here. Close my eyes. Yank this baby out here. What do we got here? All right. Ooh, okay. We got from the junk wax era, our favorite era, a Larry Walker rookie card, 1990 Topps baseball. Larry Walker.
Oh man, Larry.
You know what?
He's a first baseman, right?
Yeah. This is actually it says outfield here, but I think he did move to first base eventually in his career.
Okay.
This is actually one of the more valuable cards in the set. I'd say right behind the Ken Griffey Jr. card, of course, which is a rookie, and the Deion Sanders rookie card, which I do have both of those as well. Probably missed them by 2 or 3 cards in my stack, honestly, because I'm an anal freak when it comes to organization with these. But Larry Walker, good card, one of the more valuable cards of this pack and of the junk wax era, I'd say. And I think I probably have 3 of these cards, man.
Yeah. So since you're an organizational freak about things, I got about 10,000 cards for you to go through.
I got my own problems here, buddy. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm just saying. You and your little dog can hang out and check out my cards and sort them out for me.
And put it right back in the same spot. Can't mess that up. But that's what I got in the stack this week. Little Larry Walker rookie card action. I don't think that one would be worth grading. What do you think? Do you think anything from that junk wax era would be worth grading?
I mean, yeah, I think depending on the card, there's definitely some cards from that era that stuck out. I mean, everybody knows the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr.
Right.
That card still carries value if it's graded a PSA 10 or back at 10 of 10, pristine something. I just, and I'm sure there's plenty of other cards. I really haven't looked into that much because every time I look at those cards, it just depresses me that they're worth nothing.
I might be mistaken. There might be one more card worth more than that Larry Walker card, and I think it's the Bo Jackson out of that. I could be mistaken.
Okay.
But definitely Larry Walker, cool card. One of my favorites out of that entire set there, that Topps 1990, which in the Topps Series 1 2025, this year's cards, they have brought those that style back as an insert, which is really cool. They do have some classic players on there too, like Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson.
I got my first Babe Ruth out of the Topps Heritage, and I was like, man, I never thought I'd own a Babe Ruth card.
Right.
And I know it's a new card; it's not worth a lot, but it was pretty cool to get a Babe Ruth, card. It just was kind of mind blowing. Oh man, I got a Babe Ruth card. This is
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video of the kid opening a pack with his grandpa? He pulled that Babe Ruth autographed card. That's a newer card, but they actually took a piece of something he signed, a real clean autograph. I believe it's a 1 of 1.
Okay.
And this little kid found it with his grandpa. It was a really cool video. If you haven't seen it, you should find that. If you're a fan of cards, it's just kind of heartwarming. Very heartwarming video.
Yeah, that's crazy. So just for fun, I pulled up 1990 tops, just kind of get an idea of what cards may be worth something.
Yeah.
And obviously, having a 10 on things is going to make a huge difference. But that Frank Thomas rookie card that you were mentioning.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
the Frank
one.
Frank Thomas, number 414 out of the tops. But it's got to be a Tiffany tops baseball. That's the key. It's got to be the Tiffany, which is a nicer print than the OG base card.
Okay.
And there is a specific way to tell. I do not remember it. I apologize. But there is a specific way to tell whether it's a Tiffany's card or just a standard base card out of the set. I believe it's something to do with printed in the USA or printed. There's something on the back of the card that lets you know whether it was Tiffany or not. But
not to mention, sorry to cut you off, but that Frank Thomas card, there is one out there. There's no name on it. Well, there's one set.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say it's a one of one.
And error cards are definitely going to make a huge difference. If you find an error card, typically those are, maybe one of one or very, very few.
Very few. But that's probably the most expensive card in that pack. But yeah.
But like that Frank Thomas rookie is for right now, it's kind of price chart. I'd use price charting just for information. A PSA 10 of that thing is going for $2,255. Correspondingly, a 9 of that same card goes for $410. So that kind of gives you an idea of the difference between a 9 and a 10, especially in the junk wax era. Going back, that Frank Thomas no name that you were talking about.
Yeah, the no name. Yes.
$26,400 in a PSA 10.
Yep. Which
so
I don't
that kind of gives you an idea. There's also a Frank Thomas. Apparently, they had some issues with him. They have a partial backless card that ungraded goes for over $2,000. Nobody's ever got a PSA 10 in it at this point. But
partial backless, interesting.
Yeah,
just a bad print, huh?
Yeah, apparently that King Griffey rookie, junior card in the Tiffany is $3,000 at a 10. These are
okay.
Estimate prices. Obviously,
I definitely need to look at my King Griffey Jr. and see if I can tell if it's a Tiffany or not. If it is, right. I'm getting that thing graded for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely if you think if it's in that good a shape and you think
brand new,
I
feel it would get a 10. I don't know about the centering. I do have a little measuring stick that I use. It's a little clear card, and it has kind of increments in the shadow of how, very small increments that you can kind of measure. So I do my own kind of subgrade before I decide to send it in, which I do suggest people to do. You should probably look at your cards the best you can. I know you're probably not a professional, but look at your card. Give yourself a grade. Maybe write it down, see what you think. Look up some other cards online, see their centering, their corners, their edges.
And each one of the sites are going to have, you can find out what their standards are for their centering.
Yes. PSA clearly posts that on their website.
And PSA is 50. I think it used to be 60-40 on the front of the card. It is now, I believe, 55-45.
Well, it's because their standards have gone up with these card manufacturers, right?
Yeah. So there's so many people are submitting, they don't want to flood the market with 10s, so they can't have it at 60-40 anymore. They have to make it harder to get there.
Now, do you believe that in lieu of that, their standards going up, do you think that's going to hurt kind of an older card? For example, I got this Roger Maris 1960 All-Star, and I really want to get it graded, but it's got some visible corner damage for sure. It's an old card. My grandpa had it stashed, probably not in the greatest spot. Do you think the fact that newer cards are getting such harsher grades that it's going to affect these older cards?
So, well, here's the thing. When you jump out of modern cards, so that's the 1980s to now, you go into vintage, and vintage, because there's so few of them left, because back in those days, the kids would take that same Roger Maris card that you're talking about, and they'd put it in their bike spokes to make the thing sound like a little bit more fun, you know? You know what I mean? That's what kids did back then. Even we did it when we were kids to an extent. It was more, a little bit, right in the beginning of our time. Yeah, that is an awesome card. And it's really cool that your grandpa had that card still.
Right. We'll put this up on the YouTube so everybody can see. It's a really cool card.
But with vintage, it doesn't necessarily have to be at a 10 to hold value. So, it's vintage is very different than modern era cards.
Yeah, I think their scale should change a little bit for those, but who am I to say? Just lowly podcaster.
Yeah, I mean, what's the number on that, Maris?
The actual card number?
Yeah, the card number.
565. So I've kind of already done my subgrading on this. Looks like the centering's probably a little off. Definitely a little corner wear here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's not going to be a crazy valuable card. I mean, you're going to get even if you grade it for the $25 that they charge, you're still going to be up a little bit on it, even if it gets like a 4. That's going for right around $60. Obviously not a 10 because of condition. It's not a 10.
No.
If it was a 10, it'd be over $9,000.
I came to the conclusion it's probably about a 4. But let's kind of go over these gradings and let's start at 5 because 4. I'm going to show you this card on the YouTube. You're going to kind of get an idea of what we believe a 4 to be. But grade 5, Bird, they say that's an excellent card. That's right?
Yeah, I mean, in the collector world, I think that most of us, unless you're talking vintage, like I said, vintage and modern are so different. A grade 5 in modern is awful. Like nobody wants a grade 5. Like if you got a grade 5, like you must have like bit the card before you sent it in. Like it's, you know what I mean? You shouldn't get anything below a 7 with modern packs. If you open it from the pack, put it in a sleeve and immediately send it off. I don't think you'd see anything. Busted. I don't think you'd see anything less than a 7 at that point, which qualifies as near mint. If you're getting a 5 or a 6 on a brand new card, life's rough.
Life's rough. They cut that card really bad. You treated that card really bad, and you just really
gotta get your shit together, man.
Yeah, I mean, still quick story. I had some Marvel cards from the 1992 series. They were holograms.
Oh, I love Marvel cards.
They were pretty great. I actually thought they were in pretty good shape, but I was looking at them in poor lighting, and it was my first ever submission, really of Marvel cards. And I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. They came back as a 4, 5, and 6, and I was quite depressed that they were that low.
Who'd you get them through? PSA?
That was through PSA, yeah. So, but that's okay. It's still cool because they're kind of unique cards that there probably aren't a ton of them in the world right now because people probably tossed them. But yeah, I mean, I got them slabbed, and they're fun.
Right.
They're never gonna be worth anything, but they're at least they look cool.
Now, anything 8 and above is considered near mint to mint. Looks like approximately 20 to 50% over the ungraded value is common for cards graded at 8s. Cards receiving a grade of 9 can command a premium of about 1.5 to 3 times the value of their ungraded counterparts. So this is what we're aiming for, people. 9s are better. Take care of your cards.
It's interesting because when I look at cards, when I'm looking to grade them, I don't actually look at the 10s. I look at what the 9's at. Because
much more common.
It is incredibly more common to get a 9 than a 10. If you get the 10, awesome. But if you get a 9, you still want to make sure you're getting value out of the card. You don't want to grade a card that maybe worth $500 as a 10, but it's only worth $21 as a 9, because more than likely you're not getting a 10 on it anyway. And then you ended up spending $25 to get a $21 card back. So your value is not there.
Unless it's worth it to you. If you think it, in the future, that might hold a little more value. No one's stopping you, for crying out loud. do it. But
And I was going to bring that up at the end of when we talked about the grades is ultimately, if you love the card, there's nothing wrong with getting it graded regardless of what the grade is, because I'm going to be honest, cards look really cool in a slab.
they do. And they're protected and you never will touch them again.
And every slab is different from the different companies. So you could pick out your favorite company and go, man, I really like the way their slab looks. I want to put my card on that slab instead of this one, if it's just a sentimental thing.
Right. So we kind of touched on like the vintage cards and how lower grades will still hold value in those pre-1980 cards. You definitely want to get cards of legendary players. I'm sure you can have Willie McClick-Talk, some random second baseman from the 1930s. His card would probably hold some value, but I'm guessing players like Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson, extremely rare short prints. That's what you're looking to grade with those vintage cards, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it helps for sure if they are a old school player. You know what I mean? But I mean, things like, everybody knows the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle rookie card, right? That is a very, very well-known card. But that card in a grade 2 values at almost $43,000.
Whoa.
So when we talk vintage, especially getting back into the 50s or beyond even, having a low grade, a 5 is $100,000. So if you got a card that's a 5 from back in that era, even if it's not Mickey Mantle per se, I would say take a look and go, well, it's not in great condition. Well, it could be worth a crap ton of money.
It's still a vintage card. It's still going to have that value just for being what it is.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It is, because there's just so few of them left at this point. Our parents threw out baseball cards, or sports cards or whatever we had, like, hey, we don't have storage space for this anymore. Let's just toss them.
Right.
Now,
when it comes to the modern cards from basically 1980 to the present, right through that junk wax era up to where we're at now, lower grades will actually tank your value. So you got to be careful on what you're going to send into grade on anything more modern. It might just be more valuable to hold on to that card than to actually get it graded.
Yeah, and I mean, when you say lower grades may actually devalue, I mean, that can be as low as if you submit a card, it gets a 9, it could drop your value of that card. 8s almost certainly are going to drop the value of a modern card, particularly this new stuff in the 2000s. It's going to drop your value. And that's why I say before submitting to anybody, whatever service is your preference, take a look at the pricing guides and see kind of where these cards fall into it. Because if you have a card that's worth $150 raw, you submit it, spend $25 or whatever you spend to get it submitted. Excuse me. You get it back and it comes back an 8. That $150 card is now worth $30.
Right.
It kills your value. Even a 9, you comes
Absolutely.
back and now your card that was 150 raw is now worth 80. And you just, you're hurting yourself. So that's why I say always look at the 9 and shoot. If you think your card's good, I think you look at the 9 space and say, okay, if I grade this, here's what the card's worth. Let's add the grading price to it. Is this going to make me a profit or am I going to lose money on it? Now, if you're doing it, say, like one of the cards we pulled earlier in this series was we talked about a Marvin Harrison Jr. card that I got.
Yeah.
He had an awful rookie year. Not awful, but the team was awful, and he really didn't get to do a lot.
A little lower than expectations, sure.
Exactly. For the number, 3 overall pick or 4 overall pick, I think he was. That's the time where I'm like, well, you know what? This card isn't worth a lot now, but if this guy has the trajectory of the career that I think he's going to have, then this card's going to be worth something down the future, and this graded is going to be not only worth it, but realistically, I'm probably paying less to get it graded now than I will 5 years from now, because costs are going to go up for the grading processes as our economy changes and things like that. So there could be some value in it now, getting it done now, where maybe it's a little, even though it seems expensive, might be a little cheaper than it is 5 years down the road.
And I'm with you. I think he's going to be a stud just from, my eye test, watching him play, the things I've seen him do, like just expanding on that a little bit more throughout his career. He's going to be a stud, man. So hold on to that card. You want to get it graded? We can talk about that a little later on the podcast, another episode maybe.
Absolutely.
I do have something in mind that I want to send in. I'll throw it up on the YouTube. I don't have it in hand to show you at the moment, Bird, but it's actually a Bart Simpson promo card from the Bartman comic book back in the early 90s. This was actually a spinner card is what they call it, because it has these two kind of hole punches on them, right? Like right in the middle of the card, there's two hole punches. And you were supposed to, as a kid, put a string in it and swing it around. And you could see Bart kind of flying around in the air, right? Well, luckily for me, I never did that. I looked this card up, and I believe I saw the PSA 10 was for sale on eBay for like somewhere north of $2,000. So this is a card I'm definitely sending in for grading. It's really cool. It's got Radioactive Man on the back. Plus, I also have the Bartman #1 comic book that's in great shape. That's one I'm thinking about sending in as well. So those make sense to me. I feel like those are get 9s or better because I took great care of them. Great care of them. So maybe we'll update that after I send those in. We can share that on the podcast as well.
Yeah, I think you've shown me the Bart Simpson one before, and I was like, that is cool. I remember you were cleaning out a bunch of stuff, and you're like, look what I found, and I was like, holy cow, that is amazing.
Yes,
that you had that old school card, and it was from the Simpsons series 2 from Skybox, right?
Skybox, yeah. I think it was 90. It's either 92 or 93. I can't remember exactly, but dude, perfect shape. It's probably my most coveted card at the moment. So I'm really happy to kind of send that in with the other kind of stack that I have ready to go, about 6 cards ready to send in.
Well, we'll talk about it 6 months from now when they finally come back.
Yeah, you're probably right. I got my regular slabs when I sent them in, probably within that 45-day window. But the autograph card, I sent in a Jalen Williams autograph Prism. I think it's not Prism. Sorry, it's because it's a Topps card, but it is a silver refractor autograph. Beautiful card. Guy just made his first All-Star team. I'm super jazzed. That actually is taking much longer to get back. It just reached the grading process. Remember, I think I texted you. I texted you a picture of it. Like, man, this is taking forever. Literally about 10 minutes later, it jumped it to the grading process. So I should be getting that card back. We'll share that when I get it back as well. Next, I kind of wanted to talk about this new site, I guess I found, called Arena Club. Have you ever heard of this, Bird?
I have. For those of you that are on Instagram and to follow any sports or collecting of any kind, I'm sure you're getting blown up with it because I have definitely seen it all over my Instagram feed, both on my personal account and on our Cards on Blast account.
Yes. The algorithm is real, people.
Yeah, it very much is. And I actually reached out to you and I said, hey, have you seen this? And you were like, no. And you said you went and checked it out.
Yep.
And so, I from what I could see, you pay them money for different sets of types of cards. So they have different levels of packs.
Yes.
I didn't go too much into it, but you can explain more here.
Yeah.
And basically you get a virtual card on your screen, but that card gets sent to you in the mail afterwards.
Okay. Kind of. How it really works, it's kind of a 3-step journey, right? Now they do grading. They do subgrading as well on their grades. You can actually buy, sell, trade any kind of graded card that you like through Arena Club, right? Now they actually will take the card. You can send them your already pre-slabbed cards you have now. They will take it. They will digitize it. They use AI as well to kind of give it that subgrade within their Arena Club grading, even in lieu of your PSA grading or whatever you have. They digitize the card for you. They store the card for you. You keep a digital, basically, snapshot of all the cards you have. Now, you don't have to have them store it for you. Yes, they will send it back to you. It only costs like an extra $1 for that. So kind of worth it if you want the card. But yeah, you can actually go in. They have different subsets of packs to buy where you crack a pack. Ding, crack a pack. All the way up to from $2,000 for their diamond, all the way down to like a multi-sports pack that's about $25. But I believe you only get one card. So I did do this. I wanted to kind of share what I experienced here on the Arena Club site, and I bought one of the multi-pack, just the $25 packs, right? Really cool, like really digital, spins the pack around. I'll share the video. It opens the pack, and it shows you what you got, and you get a graded card of some sort, randomized, completely random, and it was really cool. We're going to share that here coming up real soon on Card Pull of the Week, so I don't want to kind of step on those toes, but I feel like this is the future. This is a one-stop shop for grading, storing, selling, trading. I actually listened to a different podcast. I'm not going to tell you what it is because we don't advertise other people's podcasts on ours. We want you to listen to ours. But it was actually with the owner, the creator of Arena Club, who actually created, he started with LegalZoom.com back in about 1998. He was the creator of that. But his passion is sports cards, right? He's good at doing the legal stuff. He was a lawyer, but he didn't like it, right? That wasn't his passion. So now he's getting into his passion project. He started this Arena Club. I really feel like this is where everything's going, man. It's just that the ease of everything, having everything digital is great. And you don't really have to enter anything in yourself, kind of like what I do with I use the collectibles.com app. I don't know what you use. What do you use to store all your stuff?
I use price charting.
Price charting, right. I like collectibles.com because it gives you an actual website with your kind of your name. So if you want to check out what I have, collectibles and cards wise, you can always go to collectibles.com/JTFresh. That is my website. You can check out anything I got on there. Comment, please. I'd love to hear what you have to say about some of my cards. But I really feel like this is kind of where everything's going, Bird. And we might just be victims of it. We don't really have a say in it, but I guarantee you PSA is going to have to step up to the plate. Beckett, all these companies are kind of going to get they're going to go for this eventually in the future. They're going to have to.
Well,
There's going to be no choice.
And I think to tie back into last week's episode where we talked about Fanatics, I think that's the way Fanatics is moving. They're moving into a one-stop shop where you can go grade your cards, sell your cards, promote your cards, buy your cards. I had my first experience with Fanatics last night. I jumped into an auction because they gave me a $25 credit to just try out the product, and I was like, well, if I don't have to pay anything, I'm in.
Right.
So I jumped into a random auction where they select they open a box and you get whatever team you randomly get chosen for. So I got chosen the New England Patriots. Unfortunately, nothing great came out of the box for the Patriots, but it didn't cost me anything. I got to watch some packs be opened. It was fun.
Nice.
But I do find that their product is a lot more box centric versus Whatnot, who's much more box/individual pack centric. You can buy individual packs versus a whole box.
Right. The one thing about Arena Club too, it does give you percentages. It shows you what cards that you could possibly pull out of there, the percentages of pulling that card. And that's some pretty good cards in there, honestly, and they're all already pre-graded. You do not have to do anything. They're pre-graded for you. So you're basically buying a pre-graded card. Yes.
And not only that, but like for instance, you bought the $25 one.
Yes, which was the lowest I could go because just wanted to kind of check it out. Yep.
Well, I mean, going back to what we talked about earlier, for instance, say you got a PSA card of that, because I know you can get PSA. I think you got an actual Arena Club graded card, correct?
Yeah, it's Arena Club graded. So,
but if you got a PSA card at $25, that's the grading fee,
right?
So you're not even paying for the card at this point. You don't know the card you're getting, but you're not paying for the actual grading fee,
right?
That comes along with it. So you basically get the card for free. Because that's the cost that grading would be, is still $25.
Exactly. So honestly, check it out, people. I feel like it's a super cool new idea and going to revolutionize kind of the card business here. So.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Card Pull of the Week.
All right, this is a great segue because we're jumping right into the card pull of the week, which is actually going to be based off of that Arena Club card that I did pull. So what I did, Bird, like I said, bought the little small multi-pack, the cheapest one they had. Actually was really happy with what I got. So we'll put it up on the YouTube if you want to check out. I'm actually going to share the video of me opening the pack so you can see what it is. But I did pull... Drum roll, please. I got a Scotty Barnes rookie card. I believe it's 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Scotty Barnes rookie card, Panini Select. So, and it's a red wave, and it's already pre-graded as a 9. Really cool. So, check out the YouTube feed if you want to see that. If not, hey, go online, research it, Google Red Wave 2021 Scotty Barnes rookie card. You'll see it. But it's really cool. Pre-graded, man. How can you beat that? $25. That took my grading fee away. I still have the value of the card. Right now, it is stored with Arena Club, so I don't have the physical card. But I'm thinking about, kind of paying the money to maybe get that card, unless I just keep going with this Arena Club thing. Which
now isn't it also true that the moment your card is revealed to you, Arena Club also, if you don't like the card you got, will buy it back from you at some percentage of the card?
Yeah, so they did offer me basically about $10 to buy it back, right? So I spent $25. They will buy it back from you for a percentage. I don't know if that's a consistent
of the going value. I believe it's 90% of the going value of the card. So I think when you showed me that Scotty Barnes card, it was worth like $12. But they would buy it back for 10, which is 90% of that.
That sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah.
But so check out the YouTube feed. Got that card up there. I'll share the video of the pack opening of it. But that was my card pull of the week. I was actually really happy with it.
I love it.
It's kind of enticing and very easy to do and almost scary, honestly. It's just so easy, man. And
it is very easy to spend a lot of money on something that you don't actually you don't have to go somewhere to get. You just click a button and you're like, oh, there we go.
Yep. So, I mean, that kind of is leading us to our next topic, which is the future of the grading. This whole AI's got a much better eye than you or I, so to speak. But just like we were talking about the tag, right? The TAG, they use the AI grading, Arena Club AI grading in lieu of your already graded cards. The company I talked about before that will subgrade your cards. I believe they use some sort of AI technology to kind of give you the best information possible that they can.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think I got to imagine the cost of keeping people on to grade drives the price up. I mean, machines are unfortunately a little bit of the future here. And as AI gets more competent, if you will, I think you will see it becoming more and more popular to go through that method because you take some of that human element out of things. I don't want to see people lose their jobs that do this stuff because I'm sure they're very, very good at what they do.
Sure.
There's a reason they work for the companies they work for and are so respected in the industry. But, I think that it'll be interesting. Like one of the things I kind of like about, I didn't really talk about this during tag, is when you get your grade back, there's a printout of why your card got the grade it got. It tells you every detail of why it got the grade it got. And that's something that leaves you lacking with like PSA. You don't get any explanation of why you got a 9 or an 8.
No transparency at all.
They're just like, man, this is what you got. Deal with it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if, the card buying continues to skyrocket like it's been doing. Obviously our economy is a little sketchy right now here in the U.S.
Sure. But that doesn't stop people from having fun usually. The fun stuff is kind of those things that stick around through thick and thin, I feel, because it makes people happy, even when you're not happy with the way things are going maybe in the economy, at least you're happy with your collecting. something that's bringing you joy, you value. That's what it should always be about. Do you think this bubble will kind of burst on the AI grading? Do you think it's here to stay?
I think it's here to stay in some fashion.
We're just too reliant on computers these days anyway, so we might as well use them to our benefit, right?
Yeah, I think this is maybe, at least part of the way the future will go in the grading industry is through this AI related stuff. So yeah, man, I think we're, I don't know. It's interesting to see where the world's going to go in this. And I'd say in the next 5 years, we'll have a better idea of where everything's going.
Yeah. And I really hope that AI helps us all out with the grading of our cards. So, maybe there'll be an app out there someday that you can pre-grade your cards. So you already kind of know. I guarantee it's going that route. It's going to go that
close.
route. Yeah,
it's
got to go that
close.
route.
Yeah.
There's way too much technology with the devices we hold in our hands every day to not make that accessible to the public. So you can at least get some insight on what you're going for right off the bat. Right off the bat, you're going to know what you're going to get. So maybe that will take out those 2-month wait times. Maybe you won't even care that you got to wait 2 months to get your cards back because you already know what kind of you're expecting in that field. So
exactly.
Yeah. So hopefully AI helps us all out. I really hope it does.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you tuning in to Cards on Blast. We just want to hear what you have to say. So hit us up on our Instagram, Cards on Blast, on our YouTube, Cards on Blast. Follow us, Spotify, Apple Music. We're on all the platforms. We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. Shout out to everybody that commented on all of our posts so far. Bird, any final thoughts, my friend?
No, man. I'm excited to come meet you after this. We're gonna go out to the Sacramento Card Show and go check out some vendors and hang out for a little bit. And, see each other in person.
Yeah, we'll snap some pictures. Maybe we can throw that at the end of the YouTube while we're doing this outro here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you guys can kind of check out what's going on at the card show. Maybe we'll see you out there. If you do see us out there, we'll be the Cards on Blast guys. We'll be blasting everybody. That's it. That's us.
All right, JT. We'll see you next week, and safe travels. And tell the kid I said hey.
Absolutely.
And, thanks for his service.
Oh, will do.
Yeah.
Will do. Yeah. Shout out to everybody. Keep commenting on our posts. Hey, you want to be a guest on the show? Let us know. You got a card you want to share? Let us know. We want you to crack a pack. We want you to share what you got in your stack with us. So, hey, from everybody here, JT, the Bird, thanks for listening to Cards on Blast. You guys have a good time.
Take care. See you guys next time.
Okay. All right. No, seriously. I think I'm done. Ooh, I think we're done. I think that's good.
You finished?
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the f*** are we gonna do now?
What are we gonna do? Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?